Welcome back to the Invincible CEO YouTube channel. And we're going to get into a juicy video today with manifesting. I know we talk about a lot of concepts, but today we're going to talk about a success story. Today, we're going to answer those questions that you guys send me. What about winning at the casino? What about winning in the lottery? How do I make that happen? And have you ever done it? Well, today I'm going to share my success story with you of how when I go to the casino, I always win direct hit on roulette 29 and 32. And not only am I going to share the success story, and this has happened over and over and over, it's a no-brainer, it's a given. But I'm going to share with you sometimes how you get caught up in the story and you could forget that until you remember again. But I'm also going to lay the foundation of how we are in a physical 3D template. It is a bunch of props that we get to play with. And sometimes these props come with a story. So I'm going to share with you how I don't gamble and I'm not lucky. And you might be thinking, all right, wait, Dede, you just said you're going to share with us how to go to the casino and win a direct hit on roulette. How is that not gambling? And how is that not luck? Oh, well, I don't gamble and I'm not lucky. I'm deliberate. There's a big difference. Oh, did that just send chills? I don't gamble. I'm not lucky. I'm deliberate. I create deliberately. And as we move out of I am, which is all about survival, you don't go to the casino for survival. It's an adventure. It's fun. It's creation. So as we go in this journey and as we share the story today, I'm going to give you all the details of how it happened. We're going to look at the bridge of incidents. And the bridge of incidents for me is just noticing patterns. So as I'm sharing these points in this video today, I want you to think about the patterns of where maybe in an old version of how you told the story, you won or you got a manifestation. I mean, we're always manifesting, but you know what I mean, and I know what you mean. You're talking about the out of the ordinary things, right? So I have foundation of stories, not only my direct personal experience, but those who I know and care about where they really have won big. And that's why at this channel, I always say to you, I want you to win. I want you to win big. I want you to win all the time. My name is Dede Powerniak, and I am the Invincible CEO. And I'm here to help you get out of intellectualizing manifestation and getting into the experience of it by making clear, concise, certain choices, being very deliberate, and then following through with what you've chosen. So this is a perfect success story for that. And then I'm going to use playing roulette at the casino as an analogy for manifestation, because you know I'm the queen of analogies. But you know what I decided before I started recording this video? I'm going to give myself a promotion. I'm the goddess of realities. Like, we're going to go big here. And you know that saying, go big or go home? Well, part of my story was I knew I was eventually going to go home. So all that was left for me to do is to go big. Do I have your interest? Because this is just for you. You've been wanting this kind of video. So let's get into it. But before we do, let's win big together. I want you to hit like. If you haven't subscribed yet, we have so many delicious videos on this channel to devour. So subscribe, share with your manifesting friends. You might want to get out a pen and paper so that you can jot down talking points so that you can go back into your history, right? His story, her, or her story, her story. But I like mine to be a mystery, my story. You know, I like to play with my words. Okay. So in addition to that, if you want me to help you create foundation, if you want me to help you create a manifestation formula, you can do one-off sessions. If all you need is one session, I have those available. But we can take that formula and create a personalized program just for you, where we work together for 3 months and you have my undivided attention and guidance. All of that information, not only that, but I also have self-paced courses, digital courses that you can do on your own. And if you go to the description box below, you'll see the Invincible CEO store. Go there and all the options are available. And very soon we'll be doing another round of the group program. So more information will be coming for that. All right, so let's get into this. You don't gamble, Dede, and you aren't lucky, but you're deliberate. Let's expand. Okay, so we have normal routines. We have most of the time a normal Monday through Friday, where usually the weekends we have some variety, but even they can become normal. So first and foremost, I always pay attention to when I'm being pulled out of my normal routine. And it's in auditions, my mind is offering me something. It could be something as simple as stop on the way home and get a gallon of milk back in the olden days, or some other thing where if I'm going out to go to the gym, I might be asked to go to the store or pick something up or drop something off. Let me talk about the casino, how I see it, right? The casino is a template of casino. And the story is that you take your money and you go there and you play these games. And if you're lucky, you'll win, right? If you know how to play the game. But in that old version, it's always set up for the casino to win more than you. So that means there has to be some type of manipulation of energy on your part. And all manifestation is manipulating energy. And we do it all day long. And I know that people don't like the word manipulating. Well, then the other side of the coin is influencing. So influencing, manipulating, potato, you're taking something from one state and you're moving it to another, or you're taking something from one story and you're moving it to another. Whether we're doing it in the energetic, the mental, or the physical, it's a lot easier to manipulate the energy and a little more needed for the mental. But when we get down to the physical world, it takes a whole lot to manipulate the physical world. But when you make a grilled cheese, you're manipulating the physical world. You're taking it from one state of not being cooked and melted to another. So for me, a casino is a template, just like a supermarket is a template. The gym is a template. When you get dressed to go there, your mind already knows what you've chosen. So when you go to the casino, it downloads the casino app for you, except it's in 3D, real world. You're not going food shopping at the casino. So for me, I always notice when I'm being pulled out of my normal routine. So this is kind of bridge of incidents stuff, but I'm even going to go back to when I was a kid. The first time that I was introduced to slot machines and gambling was our grade school had carnivals and bazaars. Carnival in the spring and bazaars in the fall, winter. And I love the bazaars because it was inside and there was these tables and they maybe had 5 slot machines and they were like a dime and a nickel, maybe a quarter. And it was the old-fashioned ones where you had to put the money in and you had to pull the lever down. And my one grandmother, she loved the casinos. She loved the slot machines. And we always joked that she had more muscles on her right arm because of having to pull the lever down, because that was quite a feat sometimes to move that arm. But I remember that, and I remember the sound of the money dropping into the coin tray, ching, 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 ching. It was like, oh, so excited, right? Especially when you're a kid, all of a sudden you put one dime in and you got 10 more and it's like, whoa, you're like rich. And I really tap into those moments of the innocence of childhood, the memories that I have of winning big, right? What would not be a big win today was such a big win for 8-year-old me or 10-year-old me. But the other thing that I won a lot on is the spinning wheels, and the wheels that had all the numbers, and they had ones where you could put a quarter down on a number and you would win. But also it was like for stuffed animals and baskets, pre-made baskets. The gist of a bazaar or carnival. And for some reason, I don't know how I picked up on the pattern, but I would always win on 29 and 32. 29 and 32 are my numbers. They had no other meaning at that time other than they were numbers on the wheel. And I could play all the other numbers, but if I played 29 or 32, to the point where I would win so many stuffed animals that I had to give I had 2 younger sisters. I had to give them some because it would be like I would just be the stuffed animal goddess. So, the adults started to notice that I had this knack of just knowing what to do and where to play. And my great uncle, the one day we were at my grandmother's house and he was watching a horse race, and it was kind of confusing to me. He's hollering at the horses on the screen, and I go over to him. Maybe I was about 10 at the time, and I'm like, they can't hear you. And he's like, oh, it's just all part of it. Like he was already showing me it's all part of the fun, it's all part of the game. And that I said, well, which one do you want to win? And he told me whatever number it was. And, well, that's not the one that's going to win. It's going to be this one. And the one that I said was like, a whole horse length behind. And he laughed at me until the horse won. And he's like, could you do that again? I'm like, do what? And there was another race. And then I did it again. So we used to take little trips to the racetrack. And I made quite a killing there for him and for me. Did I have some supernatural power where I could see into the future? No, it's because I chose it. And especially when you're a young kid, you don't have all the conditioning. You don't have all the importance. It was just, I just thought this is what people do. It wasn't like it was special. It's just me being me. So that's some foundation for 29 and 32. The other thing I want to say about casinos is I don't necessarily deliberately go to them. It's usually not even in my top 10 choice of things to do. So most of the time, if I'm going to a casino, I've been invited. I've been being pulled out of my normal routine. And I know you're thinking, come on, Dede, you can win a direct hit. Why are you not going all the time? Well, as part of your manifestation journey when you're doing this, I did that for a little bit. And it didn't work then. Because I was putting importance, that was the reason why I was going. Now, obviously, when you're whatever I'm engaging in, I'm going to come out on top, right? The person with the highest awareness wins. And the more aware you are, especially when you're learning something new, right? That's what the beginner's luck is. It's heightened awareness. It's heightened focus awareness. So with that as some foundation, I want you to think about either now or when we're done this video, look back to your wins. There's patterns. You will start to develop and understand your patterns. And for me, how I know that 29 and 32 are so ingrained for whatever reason, I don't need a reason. It just is, and that's good for me. That I had a dream one time that I was playing roulette, but instead of putting the chips down, in my dream, we used the neon yellow softballs. My one daughter plays softball or played softball, and they weren't white like when I was a kid. They were like neon yellow. And 29 and 32 are right next to each other on the roulette board. I'll put that up here. So if you're not sure what roulette is, here's the wheel and here's the board. So it's numbers 1 through 36, and there's 0 and 00. And you can bet on black or red. You can pick a column. You can pick corners or what I call partners right next to each other, or you can do a direct hit. Like there's so many different ways that you can play depending on what you want to do. And there's usually a minimum bet. At the casino that the last one I went to, it was $5 bet per if you did the electronic roulette, and then $10 if you the actual physical roulette wheel, like the old-fashioned version. Okay, so now for me, 29 has more of a significance to it because my daughter was born on the 29th. But 32, there is no 32 on the calendar, and really just 32 is just 32, but it resonates with me when there's an opportunity to win, or what people would call an opportunity to win. So for me, the casino is a template, and there's usually a basic generic story that you have to be lucky or a master at what you're doing or whatever it is. But that's not my story. My story is every time I go to the casino, I get a direct hit on 29 and 32. Not 29 or 32, 29 and 32. And I also win on it in corners and partners and rows and all that kind of stuff. But ultimately, at least one time on both numbers, I will get a direct hit. So now we get invited, I think it was either the end of November, early December last year, to the casino. It was one of our friends' birthdays, and that's where she wanted to hang out. And we hadn't been out in a while. So my partner and I decided we're going to go. And just to give you some ideas in the past, I always go to the casino when I'm invited, or there's some other extenuating reason to go. And well, lucky me, while I'm there, I get to play. So I've gone to see comedians. I've gone for weddings and bachelorette parties. I've gone for just someone else decided, hey, let's all get together and go to the casino. I've gone for conferences. Like I've been to Vegas several times. And also my ex, when he traveled, sometimes I would get to travel and meet him out somewhere. So it would always be someplace that I would want to go or enjoy. And this happened in Vegas. And there's always a reason for me, an extenuating reason why to win other than just winning itself, or again, picking a deliberate outcome. So for me, when I put my thing on 29 and 32, I expect to win. But I will also play black or red, I'll play other numbers. I do that to take the importance off, because even though it's all part of my story, I don't want it to feel like this has to happen, this better happen kind of thing. But I know within the course of me being there, it will happen. And honestly, I don't want it to happen the first time or the first half hour, because whenever I engage with something, I go for the experience of it for the whole time of being there. So when I was in Vegas, I was walking around in the hotel that had the casino, like I was looking window shopping, and there was this beautiful Dornier Burke purse with this cute matching wallet. And I'm not a big purse person, so this one though really spoke to me. And I think back, it had to be like 2005. It was like the combination was like $325. And then I found these pair of sandals that I really loved, and they were about maybe 125 a piece at the time. And I wanted them in black and white, because when I find something I like, I always get multicolors. And it's just basic generic so that I'd have it to go with, because they were so comfortable. I still have the black pair today. Meet 29 and 32. These are the sandals I got in Vegas back in 2005 when I had my direct hits. I did get the purse and the wallet, but that got beat up over the years, so I no longer have that. And the white version, I wore them so much they broke and I couldn't get them fixed. So these are the shoes. To this day, they're still so comfortable. And for me, attaching something like that to the story, right? And even when I was in Vegas that time, I wasn't working. I was a stay-at-home mom. So I actually had to say to my ex, you have $100. It's always $100. And I said, I'll give it back to you. It's just my thing. I don't like, back then I didn't like taking money from people. I have no problem with that now. But I said, I'll return this to you because I'm going to win on 29-32. And I had won on 29, and he came over to celebrate, and he was kind of hanging out with me. But while he was there, I stopped winning. So I made him go away. And then I won on 32. Okay. So now back to November and December. So we get invited there. And we decide we're going to have $100 each to spend, because that's more than enough when you know what's going to happen. It's predictive programming. So when we get there, we say hello to everybody, but right away, everybody kind of goes in their different directions. And I think I might have played some slot machines, and sometimes I do a little bit more, but I really enjoy playing roulette. So here's my thing that I do. It's sort of like my pattern that I developed. When I go over to the roulette wheel, now in this casino, because back in the day, you only had the real wheel with chips. But now you have the real wheel with chips, and then you have the electronic game version, but there's a real wheel spinning. It's just you bet electronically on the computer. So I decided to do that because it was $5 a bet, where the real wheel was $10 a bet. And I figured I'll get over there eventually. But even before I played the electronic one, I don't sit down and play until either 29 or 32 comes out. And in this casino, which back in the day, I grew up in Philly, so if you wanted to go to casino, you had to go to Atlantic City or Vegas. That were your choices. And now they're all over the place, and we have one about 20 minutes from us. So it was a 20-minute ride to this casino where we met our friends. So I always wait until 29 or 32 comes out, And on the electronic, they had 2 electronic wheels. So there were 3 wheels altogether. And I could see the regular roulette station, and they post their numbers too. So I'm watching, because soon as 29 or 32 comes out on any one of the 3, I know now my reality is engaged, because that's my subconscious, because that's my email, right? My email that the transaction, the reality is engaged, even though I'm already there and I already know what's going to happen. I wait for the reply. That's why I created this story. I'm not lucky. I don't gamble. Here's the story. Here's the templates, the casino. And Dede is placing her story that I'm brought here. And when I'm brought here as the natural course of events, right? I got invited for a birthday party, or I go see a comedian. Some other extenuating circumstances. It's not just me. I never choose, because when I choose to go to the casino, this doesn't work. And that was the pattern I realized. So now it's all getting set up for me, right? I'm aware as the conscious, deliberate creator how the story unfolds. And when the story unfolds as I have created ahead of time, that's why we build foundation for your manifestations when we work together. We build the story because we go back into what works for you, whether it's a casino or it's a business or it's a personal relationship, because you already have things that are a cycle or a loop within you. And then we use the physical template to put your story over top of it. So now I get the confirmation, 29 comes out. So I sit down and I'm there for the roulette experience, which means I'm going to win and lose as my character is playing. However, the ultimate goal is that I do not leave that casino without hitting directly on 29 and 32. So at $5 a pop, and a direct hit is 35-1. If I put $5 down, I'm going to get 175. And both numbers, it's going to be 350. That's going to be an important number. Okay. So I put in my $20, and I'm playing black and red, kind of, getting warmed up. And then I play with the probabilities a little bit, where the columns, you can play 2 of the 3 columns and come out ahead of the casino. But if you play all 3, you're going to be behind, because they're going to win every time. So the fun part is which 2 columns to play. And I was playing with that. And by the time I was done doing all that, and I saw that my partner walked over to the real roulette wheel, and he wanted me to come over and join him, I think I was down $40. Now, again, that's just in that moment, because I already know how this is going to end. So that's not a big deal. And I have $60 still. So I go over, and it's $10 a play over there. It's really crowded. So I'm kind of standing behind him, and I'm paying attention if me being there, if he's winning or he's losing, because if me being there and he's losing, then I'm going to withdraw my energy from him. But he's so excited. He did really well, at least when I was over there with him. But for me, it was too crowded, and I knew I wouldn't enjoy that. So I'm not going to play the roulette wheel to play the roulette wheel if I'm not in that kind of energy that I need to be in, right? I'm there to have fun, to enjoy the experience. So anyway, I go back over to the where I was, but all the seats were taken. So I'm watching people, and 29 and 32 are repeating now. They're coming out, and I'm looking at any other numbers. There's maybe like 11 might have been repeating, which is another number that's important to me, that has significance. But I mean, I'll play other numbers just to play around to see, but I know 29, 32. So anyway, we meet and we go have something to eat, and we hang out with the friends a little bit. And then he still has money left. I still have money left. And we know, I know how this is going to end. But you get so caught up in things, you forget. It shows you, like, you see how much this is my story. And when we met up again, after a little while had passed, because we were like, okay, let's spend some time together here, not just the games. I was talking to him, and I'm like, oh, how you doing? He's like, oh, I lost it all. I lost it all, but I had so much fun losing it all. It was so much fun. That's what I came for. I'm like, okay. And at that time, I had $40 left. He's like, what about you? And I said, oh, I got $40. And he's like, oh, well, at least you're winning and you'll have $40 unless you don't. And when he said that, something hit because we had just previously, before we start talking about that, I said to him, how much longer do you want to stay? Because we're not late night people. And he's like, maybe another half hour. I'm like, okay. Because we knew our friends were going to probably be there into the AM, but that's not our thing. And so when he said to me, that I may not have anything, it struck me. I'm like, oh, how did I forget? Like, how was I going to be okay accepting going home with $40 or no dollars or even $100 if I got the money back? Girl, did you forget who you are? Do you forget what you're like? It hit me like, wait, no, that's not who I am. That's not my story, and I'm not about to change it. What am I doing? And I'm like, okay, now we have a time frame. I have a half hour. And I looked at him and I said, I'll be back. He said, okay. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'll tell you later. Because as that was hitting, and he said to me, well, or you may not have anything going home. And I'm like, I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, no. That's not who I am. That's not who I am. And it wasn't like a desperate, that's not who I am. It's just like this, you remember. And all of a sudden, this energy is like, I felt like that was my Superman phone booth moment where I go into the phone booth and dun, 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 super Dede. Because what I realized as I was sitting there and a little bit shocked that I had forgotten who I was and how the story is going to go, because I got put into another reality that looked exactly like the casino that I was in, but I have $40 left. And now we have a half hour, which wasn't a time frame that I put on. And I went, you know what? What do I know? I know that we're going to go home in about a half hour, right? So there's the go home part. All I'm left to do is to go big. And I said to myself, we're going to have a conversation on the car ride home. Do I want the conversation to be that I have no money? I lost it all. And he was fine with his, and that's his reality. And I'm not here to talk him into something else. Do I want to have $40 left? At least I didn't lose it all. And it's like, no, girl, who are you? Like, come on now. What's your story? What are you going to be saying in that car? Because you're going to be talking to each other at that 20-minute ride home. And it was like, duh, I hit on 29:32. And we have this little playful banter we do. And I'd be like, no. I got a direct hit. I mean, my direct hit is his direct hit, but I would be teasing. I would be saying, but of course, 29:32. Like, I'm glad I realized it there than on the car ride home when I would be having a conversation of I only had $40 left or I lost it all. That's not like, I know what I chose. This is what I mean when I know what I chose. And all the formula, all the foundation was leading up to that wish fulfilled, that done deal. That's why even if you go unconscious in this story, it will remind you. It will remind you who you are, because that's the assumption that's activated. And it takes a lot to come out of an activated assumption that you're there. All the pieces and parts, boom, 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 boom. So what I did was, I'm like, all right, I'll be right back. I go back over. There's only one seat available. It was like it was waiting there for me. It wasn't any of the seats that I sat in before for the electronic version to bet. And I went down, and the ball was already spinning, but you still could place a bet. So boom, 29. Put $5 down, 29 came out. I'm like, oh yeah. Right away, my subconscious is going, yes, you're in that story. All right, that happened. 32. Guess what? Direct hit, because my mind knew I had a half hour and I was where I needed to be. I took inspired action. I got up, I came back over to the game. All I had to do was 29:32. Never, ever has it been 32 and 29, right? So that's how I knew. I wasn't playing partners. It was direct hit time, because I had won many times on corners and partners and rows and color, all that kind of stuff, and then lost and then won. So now I had put $20 in the machine, but I had only need $10 of it. Between the two direct hits, I now have $350, but I still had the other 20 and I took the 10 back. So I left there that night, went there with 100, left with 380. And the important thing is I didn't go to win money. I went to have the casino experience. I went there to have the roulette experience. I went there to live in a different, because I've never been to this one, to have 2932 come out directly for me, as it always does when the formula that I'm aware of happens. And I'm part of that happening. So didn't tell him right away, cashed out, got my money, just like I envisioned, because I envisioned the conversation on the car ride home, and it wasn't right away. I started the conversation. Did you have fun? You know, what was the highlights of your night? And knowing that he would ask the same thing back. And that's when I said, guess what? Here we go. And my rule has always been with my winning spoils, I'm not allowed to pay a bill. I'm not allowed to pay a bill or put out a fire of an old reality. That's why I got the purse and the shoes. We had the fun conversation of, what are we going to do with our spoils? What are we going to do? And we decided that we were going to go have a nice dinner and then get little gifts. That was it. So much fun. But the reason why I want to use this as an analogy for manifestation is that if you go into a casino with the story that you have to figure out the wheel or you have to be lucky to win, you're at the mercy of the story. The story is leading you, and the roulette gods have to shine down on you and your number, because then the roulette wheel is the god and you're just this little neophyte trying to find your space as you're worshiping this god by putting your time, because all worship is giving time and attention to something, right? And now extra because you're putting your money, your energetic currency down. Or you decide you're the god of your reality. Roulette exists because you let it exist. It doesn't exist until you get there. It's only a concept in your mind. And then you take the physical template and you put your story over top of it. And when you're creating your story, you use a recipe, ingredients that you already know with the you that you identify with are activated, aligned, and anchored already into your being. So it's not that big of a deal. So what I want you to take away from this story, the success story today, and this is one of many times, that the only time that I don't get the direct hit was when I was going there to get money because I needed money for something immediately. And I thought that was the way to put out a fire. That's I am. Stay out of I am. Stay out of survival mode. I went there to get the direct hit. Lucky me that I get money as a result of that. It wasn't about the money. It was about making a choice, an assumption, a theme, and in that time and space that was allotted, allow it to manifest. And how it all happened is the fun part of the adventure, because I knew, even though I forgot for a little bit during the course of it, because you get so pulled into the story, you forget, but it reminded me of who I was, and then I dominated. And if you remember, that's how I chose my word for this year, because every year I choose a word, and this year's word is dominated because it was the end of last year. And it was right around the same time that I was starting to blow up the channel. So I hope you enjoyed, well, I know you enjoyed this story. It's pretty amazing. It really shows you how you can use this, use manifestation to create your outcomes by using energy that's already active and aligned and anchored within you, activate, align, anchor, But not only that, but this is all your story. And when you know with certainty and you're clear, right? Clear, certain choices in the now moment. I know what I chose. And my mind, once I choose it, that's why 3D circumstances don't matter. My mind must always get my attention to say, but Dede, you can't go home with 40 bucks. You chose a direct hit. And now there was even a time frame on top of it, even though there was a time frame the whole time because we weren't going to be there for, 10 hours. But nonetheless, this is where when you make the choice and then you go into the story for the actualization of it, you don't have to worry about anything. It will play out for you unless, here's the big thing. If I would have, at that moment we were talking and I said I had $40 left, if I accepted that as the final outcome, then that would have been the final outcome. But the great technique, and I talked about this in yesterday's video, is what is the conversation I'm going to have in the very direct near future, right? I do that every morning. What is the conversation I'm going to have with my partner as we sit on the couch at night? Because I know that's pretty much a done deal. So I knew we were going to be driving home in the car, having a conversation. And I heard me speaking. I heard him speaking. And it wasn't exactly verbatim, but it was close enough because I got the direct hits, because I couldn't not get them. I couldn't not get the direct hits. That's when you move from I didn't have to walk around all night going, I am the winner on 29-32. I am the winner, because I've already created it. And if I've already created it, I know what I've created. And all I got to do is be the awareness in the body that I'm animating. And again, it's just like the body did its thing and I went along for the ride. I was piggybacking on the physical body so that I could have the physical manifestation of it. That's how this is so, so powerful. So what did you get out of this? What is it that you now want to create? Leave I am alone. The moment you open your eyes, you're aware. That's all the I am you need. And when you go to create a manifestation, can't say this enough. I did not go to the casino to win money. I went there to get the direct hit on 29-32. And what that implies is Dede gets money. Dede gets paid. Dede always gets paid. How about you? Because all I want to see you do is win big, win all the time. And just like I made that offer at the beginning, we need to work together, you and I. You know it. Why are you putting off your wish fulfilled any further? Let's do this. So, my friends, until I see you again, I will be putting up the next 3 topics to vote on for next week's community chosen video. So be on the lookout in the next 24 hours on the community tab. But until I see you again, happy manifesting and enjoy.